Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today because we are joined by the one, the only Sarah Fraser.
David Yontif behind the velvet rope. Oh my
Guess-
God, love being here. I love spilling the tea with you.
Guess what?
good.
Guess what?
What?
We have moved on. Apparently, no one is talking about Erica Jane anymore and her, legal dramas from Tom. We got Jen Shah. Jen Shah, baby.
I have
Jen
a
Shah.
bazillion questions for you about Miss Shaw and this whole trial. The trial starts, by the way, July this month in New York City. Miss Shaw, Coach. I have 10,000 questions for you. Are you shocked that Jen Shaw and Coach are even still together? Like
Yes.
on the brink of divorce. Yes, aren't you shocked? Like he's holding her hand.
I'm shocked. I am shocked.
I am shocked.
Yes, that they are still together. Listen, it's like when
amazing that they are still together.
It is amazing. No, it's like, like when like a child dies or something. Look at, for better or poorer, richer, like all this stuff. Life is hard, and so, if you're not with the right person, they hightail it out of there when something disastrous happens. And I mean, if they couldn't make it through this, man.
Well, actually, I do have a theory. I think they have struck an agreement that he is standing by her because I think the solidarity makes her look innocent. I think they're going to fight this all the way to the end and she will stay on the show. And then in next season or the following, they are going to get divorced. There's my prediction.
That'll be good for Miss Shaw's storyline.
It will be very good for Miss Shaw's storyline. But I think if he left her now, I think there's obviously love there. I think if he leaves now, it makes her look more guilty. I think if he stands by her, this is my woman. She did not do anything wrong. It looks like, well, if Coach, who is, a respected coach, believes her, we should believe her too. But I think there is trouble in paradise. That's my guess. Could be wrong. You and I say it all the time. We're often very wrong on this podcast, but
this one I might agree with you on. Now I have to say also, I hear your plan about, trial and then divorce in season 4 or 5, but here's what you didn't factor in. I mean, innocent until proven guilty. She might be away for 30 years. And so in season 31 of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, she can come back and the divorce might happen then. Like, I'm not being funny, but you haven't factored in the fact that Miss Shaw may not be on the Salt Lake Housewives for quite some time, Sarah. This is not Teresia. This is not Miss Judice. We're not going to stop the show for Miss Shaw. Did you factor that in?
Do you think she's going to be found guilty? I mean,
look, she's like Erica to me. It's like she is unwavering in her innocence. Now, I don't know. I wasn't there and next to her in bed at night. She's unwavering in her innocence. So either you are innocent or you have balls of fucking steel. You know what I mean? Because this is the federal government. So, girl, I
think people, I'm sorry. We are not political, but I do think
I am not political now.
Neither am I. But I do think people have learned from former President Trump. If you say it long enough and you sound like you know what you're saying and you believe what you're saying, other people will believe you too. They will believe the fuck out of you
fake it till you make it, baby.
I mean, we know he lost the election, but there's a lot of people because he stuck with his story that believe that he did not lose. Okay.
My good friend Siggy Flicker over there down in Florida is probably one of them.
Right.
Not probably. Let me rephrase that. She is one of them. Yes.
She is one. So I think Jen and many other people have learned, Erica, hold a hard line because are you okay? Are you?
Yes. No, my cleaning lady first. Just go on. Okay, we have to get things done here, people. Okay. No one is breaking. Thank God.
Okay, thank God. So anyway, I think she knows that. I mean, what is she gonna do? If she pleads guilty, she's she's going to be sentenced to your point, up to 30 years. You're not going to play. You are going to roll the dice, go to trial, believe that it's going to be very hard for them to, to get a trial, to pick a jury selection of people that have probably never heard of her or haven't have some sort of affinity to reality television. And they are going to put her up there. She's a great actress, and they're going to roll the dice and see, because all it takes, this as an attorney, one person, one or two jurors to go, she probably is, but I don't know. You've got a hung jury. You have her innocent. I think it's a very smart strategy. And I think whether she is really guilty or innocent, I think there's a very strong chance that she maybe does a Teresa sentence, 18 months, 2 years.
I'm not disagreeing with that. And I mean, everything you just described is Housewives. I mean, we have people that come on each season and we're like, that just happened. I'm going to say that it didn't happen. I'm going to lie. I mean, we lie about small things. I mean, people think that Crystal Minkoff is lying about this whole Sutton thing. You just make it up. Guys, we don't have to be this. Forget the real world, guys. We're way past that. So to your point, you pick something to say and you stick with it and you double down. Every time I've told a lie in my life, and there's plenty of times, I don't know. Everyone's usually like, I don't know. You got to stick with it and you got to just double down and you got to be convinced. So welcome to Housewives. She does it, not her. They all do it on the show. And he said, she said, and you stick with it and but
as
guys,
someone
buckle up because the trial started. Yes.
I just lied in a business situation. I called you after because then I'm a horrible liar and I always am riddled with guilt. I lied in a business situation and then I confessed. I was caught in the lie and I confessed immediately. Horrible mistake.
Never confess, Sarah.
This person is like, I'll never trust you again. And then I called you and I said, what did I do? And you said, oh, I would have lied like this. And I thought, oh, I've got to call David before.
You're like, oh, wow. That's really, you're like, wait a second. This bitch didn't even skip a beat. Like I just gave you the oh, you should have done this, this, and this. And you're like, those are all good lies. I'm like, yeah, well, that's the scenario you should have gone with. And then you're like, but that took you 1 second. I'm like, oh, you gotta listen. I got a lot going on here. You gotta just each business. But no, my advice to anyone, as we have seen on Housewives, if you have a story, stick to it until the boat is really you got to know when to call it. When you're in the boat, that little lifeboat, and it's really there and the big ship has sailed away and now you are surrounded by fins and there's 13 fins and the sharks are really going to eat you, then it's time to surrender and say, guess what? I lied. But until listen, I don't support lying. I'm just saying, if you happen to tell a lie by mistake, you got